Hi Vananda. So in the previous classes, we were discussing about control flow activities, and we understood at a high level uh, how actually these control flow activities can be used while automating a certain task or a process, right? So in today's class, we shall see an example for a sequence once again and a flow chart. After that, we shall see an example for how we can able to use control flow in a sequence. We already have seen a few examples. So by taking one more example, we shall better understand how actually control flows can be, particularly control flow activities can be used inside a sequence. And we have already aware of sequence and flowchart, right? So with this example we shall better understand how actually can be sequence and flowchart can be used, right? So at a high level we understood sequence can be used to automate a simple task, whereas flowchart can be used to automate a complex task, right? Correct. Now with one simple example once again, we shall better understand when we can able to use a sequence and when we can able to use flowchart. But keep in your mind that even if you use flowchart to do a simple task, it is not a problem, right? It is not a problem. So always it's a good programming practice to use sequence for automating a simple task, or the task which will take multiple steps to perform a single action. And this can be used, flowchart can be used to automate a complex task, right? Okay, now we shall go ahead with an example to understand how when actually sequence can be used and flowchart can be used, right? Okay, I will go to the studio. Now I will start with a new process or a project, and I will give the name as flowchart sequence. And as usual, you can specify the location wherever you want to store your work projects. Create it. Now the tool is creating the required files. Okay, let us assume our aim is to take three inputs from the user. Okay, and after that, what we have to do means we need to perform an operation on those three variables. Okay, and finally we need to print the result, right? Now I will clarify here what is our aim is. First, what we have to do means we need to perform an operation called a read. Okay, read. What it has to do is it has to read the values for three variables, let us say x, y and z. Okay, then after that what it has to do is it has to perform an operation on those three variables. Let us be specific. Let us say that it has to perform an operation called addition on two variables, let us say xy. Okay, and it has to perform an operation called subtraction on yz, right? And we shall store the result of this x plus y in a variable called sum. Okay, must be sum, and let us store this result of y minus z in a variable called d, which stands for difference. And finally what we have to do is we need to write the value of sum, I mean yes, and d on the console, right? So let us assume we are trying to automate this okay, using a flowchart and a sequence, right? Okay, now in before going to the UiPath Studio, now let us understand this at a high level. So what is our aim? First we need to read value for x, value for y, value for z. Then you perform addition and subtraction operation and store the result in s and d. After that you need to write the value of s and d, right? Okay, right? Okay, now see here, in order to perform this read operation we need three steps, right? Read the value for x, read the value for y, read the value for z. So can we use sequence over here? So this is what sequence is. Sequence is that whenever there is a need for automating a simple task, or if you want to perform multiple steps, to perform a single action, then you can use a sequence, right? Okay, now with this definition, okay, we shall use sequence for read operation, right? And we shall use similarly here we need to perform two steps in order to perform addition, one step for addition and one step for subtraction. In order to perform operation action for operation, right? Then similarly here we need to take two steps. Okay, one step to write the value of s on the output panel, and one more step to write the value for difference. Again to perform an action called output, we can have a sequence which actually inside that sequence it should have two steps. Okay, now I can say, we can have all these three sequence inside a flowchart. Clear? Now I hope with this diagram you can better understand what actually flowchart means, right? What actually flowchart means, what actually a sequence means. Usually flowchart can have n number of sequence, and a sequence can have n number of statements, right? So why we have to do this? So that if we do if we automate a task by following this, then it improves the readability, and it improves what I can say, even it makes testing job easier, and right, and we can able to reuse the sequence. Like for example, we have a separate sequence for read. Whenever in future if you are trying to automate a different task which needs a read operation again, where you need to read the value for x, y, z, then you can make use of or you can reuse this read sequence itself. So these are all the advantages, and because of this reason people saying that use sequence whenever you want to automate a simple task or which requires multiple steps to perform a single action, right? And then use flowchart if you have n number of sequences, right, inside a flowchart. We shall do this in a UiPath Studio now. So what we said, first and foremost we have to go with to the designer panel. Then for better clarity I will zoom it. Okay, now first what we need a flowchart. So I have already explained you how we can able to take a flowchart. Go to the activities panel, use a few characters or type flowchart in the search bar. Here you will get an activity. Just drag it and drop it in the design panel. Okay, then double click to go inside the flowchart. Obviously there will be a start node. Now what we need a sequence for read, right? Then what we need, we need one more sequence for doing operation. Then we need one more sequence for writing the output, right? So we shall rename this. I can call this as read sequence, right? And we can call this as operation sequence, and we can call this as write sequence, right? And we shall connect it. Okay, I have already explained how to connect these sequences or start node to the sequence in the previous class itself. So see here, this is a flowchart where flowchart has three sequences inside it. So flowchart has three sequences, like sequence 1 read sequence, operation sequence, write sequence, right? Now what we have to do in the read sequence, double click on this. Now we are in read sequence. What we have to do in the read sequence, we need to read the value for three variables one by one. So we are already aware of input dialog activity, which allows us to ask the question for the user, enter the value the value for x. Okay, then after that what it has to do, it has to ask the user to enter the value for y, enter the value for y, and then it has to ask the user to enter the value for z, enter the value for z, right? And we need to create the variables. Okay, we need to create the variables. Let us call the variable as x and one more variable y, and sorry, yeah, I typed yes, y, then one more variable z, and see here all should be an integer type, and I already have explained in the previous classes how to change the data type, right? Correct. And better you give the higher scope. I will tell you what happens if you give the lower scope in the coming classes. You always try to give the higher scope, like flowchart level, or even if you type a sequence level, we shall see. But there is a difference. But there is a difference of the scope. I will tell you what is that. Those differences, don't need to worry for the time being, right? Okay. Now we have successfully created 3 variables. Okay. Whose scope is complete flowchart. I mean, those 3 variables are accessible in the complete. I mean, in the flowchart completely here. That is the scope. Okay. Now we are in sequence. The user entered value. I mean, the value entered by the user in this input dialog box should be stored in which variable? X variable. Then the value entered by the user using this input dialog box should be stored in y variable, and the value entered by the user using this input dialog box should be stored in z variable, right? Now we successfully created the first sequence called read sequence, whose aim is to perform a read operation, like reading the value for x, reading the value for y, reading the value for z. Now what we have to do in the operation sequence? Okay, go back to the flow chart. We need to perform 2 operations. Okay, we shall perform 2 operations now. Okay, what is the first operation we have to do? Assign, right? So assign activity, then we need one more assign activity. Okay, we need to create variables. Which are the variables? S, capital S, and we need one more variable called capital D as per our requirement, and both should be of type int, and let the scope be complete flow chart. Okay, but there is a difference. I will tell you. I will prove this in the coming classes. So here S should have the value of x plus y, and D should have the value of y minus z. Correct? So this is according to our requirement. Yeah, y minus z, x plus y, right? So we completed operation sequence. Finally, what we have to do in the write sequence? In the write sequence, we need to write the value of sum and difference. So for that, I can use write line, which will write the value onto the output panel. Okay, I need to double click. Yeah, I need to double click. Then drop it here, and I need one more write line. But you can do that job in the single write line only. For better clarity, I am using 2 write line. Okay, what it has to print? Something like I can quote like this: sum equal to plus where I am storing in a variable called s, that should be converted to toString. You are already aware of toString method. Then similarly, I will call diff, which stands for difference. Okay, plus where we are storing the difference in a variable called d. Okay, now we successfully created write sequence. So now I hope we have successfully created the complete project. Okay, where in a single flowchart we have 3 sequences. Okay, now see here. This is what I was telling. A sequence is used when you need to perform a single action, like a read action, which requires multiple steps. Clear? Okay. Exactly in the same way we can understand operation sequence, write sequence. Now we shall see whether this will work fine If we get a problem, no problem, we shall try to debug and we shall try to solve it. Now it is going to the first sequence, a read sequence, where it is asking the value for x. I will enter the value as 10 and this as 20 and this as 30, so that we can easily remember. Okay, now see here, 10, what was those values? 10, 20, 30, right? And we are finding the sum of first two numbers. I mean 10 and 20. Yeah, 10 and 20. So 10 and 20 is 30. And we are finding the difference between the last two variables, y minus z, which is 20 minus 30, which is nothing but minus 10. So this is how we can able to use sequence and flowchart. I hope with this example you understood when to use sequence, when to use flowchart, or in other words, how to use sequence, how to use flowchart, right? Okay. Now I will go ahead with one more example. As I said, we shall see an example for how we can use control flow inside a sequence. We already have seen an example. We shall see one more example how to use a control flow in a sequence, which is there in your textbook. I will go ahead with one more new process. I will okay. Let the name be. I can say let the name be example for. Example for control flow. Okay, and I want to store the project in this directory. So now let us assume now what we need to do is, our requirement is they will give an array for us. I mean, particularly I can say an array of names, and we need to find out or we need to write how many number of, I mean display how many number of names which will start with A, right? So once again I will specify the requirement. Let us assume our requirement is they will give an array of names. Let us say names like XYZ, ABC, okay, DEF, something like this. And what we have to do means we need to write how many number of, or we need to say how many number of names in that array starts with A, right? Clear? Just understand the requirement. So with that requirement we shall we shall try to implement that requirement. So we need a sequence here, because I am giving an example for a sequence, I mean particularly using control flow inside a sequence. Okay, now inside that sequence, okay, what we have to do first, okay, we need an array. Okay, so first to create variables we need to drop an activity here. Okay, then which activity here we need, because since we are dealing with an array of names, I mean collections, I can go ahead with an for each, right? So for each. Now see here, so once we have an activity in the sequence, then it will give a permission to create a variable. Now we shall have an array named as names, and it should be of an array of type, in this case string, right? Okay, I will give, as I said, the requirement says they will give a names like this, X, Y, Z. Okay, I typed X, Y, Z, sorry. Okay, then after that each element should be separated with comma, then something A, B, C. Okay, then again I will type A, B, D, then I will type D, E, F. Let us assume there are 4 names are given in this array called names, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, A, B, D, D, E, F. And what we have to do is we need to find out the count, I mean the names, count of the names which will start with A. There are 2, right? Now we shall write that 2 as a result, right? Okay, that is our aim. Okay, now people have understood about for each activity. What this activity will do, it can be used to process every element in that array, right? Now for each name or item in which array, in names array, what we have to do is we need to see, I mean we need to use if activity, right? Correct? if activity here. Okay, we need to say whether, I mean if the names, I mean particularly item in this case, because every name in names is labeled as item here. Item dot, okay, okay, equals, okay, I can't use equal. ToString is already in string. We shall see. Yeah, first convert it to string so that you will get the method called start with. So can you see here start with, which is a library method. Okay, so start with what actually, how many arguments it will take, we shall see. Once again I will check that how many arguments it will take. So here, can you see here? Okay, for don't worry about culture, boolean, I mean ignore case. Actually it is taking 3 arguments. Can you see here? Value, ignore case and culture. Okay, I will come back to this. Don't need to worry for the time being. Now for the time being, let us see whether it will start with A. Okay, sorry, I need to pass this as an argument. Right? Okay, then here what we I think I need one more variable because we need to have a counter, right? So for that, so initially we shall take a counter. Okay, for that what we have to do, we need assign. Before entering for each loop we shall have a counter. So we need to create a variable called count, which should be of type integer, right? And we shall initialize that count to 0, right? Now if this condition becomes true means what? Then the string is starting with, or the name is starting with A, right? Then what we have to do? Then we need to increment the counter, right? Then count should be equal to count plus 1. Otherwise you no need to increment the counter, so you can leave this as it is. Then finally after for each, I mean after processing all the items in this array, then what you can able to so I don't need assign now what you can able to do, you can write the value of count. Finally you can write the value of count to the output panel, right? Okay, so I hope I completed the requirement. Okay, we shall see, no problem. If we get an error, we shall debug it. So it has started. So it has given the result as to whether it is correct. We shall check that. We shall see whether the names array has 2 names which will start with A. Yeah, 1 and 2. Hence we are getting the correct result. Correct? So this is how you can able to use controls flow activities inside the sequence. Okay, so don't worry, even in the coming classes we shall have few more examples with respect to this. So this completes your unit, sorry, I can say chapter 3, which falls under unit 2. In the coming class we shall start with a new chapter called data manipulation, right? Thank you, Ananda.